Hello and welcome to this week's This Racing Life. Here's what's coming up. We're at Richard Hannon's in Wiltshire talking to two young apprentices about the season so far and what may lie ahead. Talking of Richard Hannon, we speak to his former assistant Tom Ward, who was set up here in Lambourne on his own and has some exciting plans for the future. And Rachel Casey is in Newmarket visiting Sir Peter O'Sullivan House, completing the trilogy of houses. Up in Yorkshire there's Jack Berry House, here in Lambourne there's Oaksey House, and now some exciting new facilities at Sir Peter O'Sullivan House in Newmarket. First, it's back to Wiltshire and to Richard Hannon to talk to those apprentices. They are Mark Crean and Thor Hammer-Hansen. So Mark, first of all, how are you physically a month or so after that setback?
I broke my tibia, I broke my shin bone out riding out. I got kicked. It was just unfortunate, one of them things. And I was out for the guts of 3 months, I think, yeah, and then another month doing physio to get my licence back. And now I'm back riding out just over a month and a week, I'd say, yeah. I spent a lot of time in Oaksey House, did a lot of physio, rehab, and yeah, they got me back to fitness, and didn't let it get to me too much. Hard to avoid the racing though, looking at it on telly, all the boys riding winners and stuff. But yeah, no, I tried to just keep going, and didn't bother me too much.
You've had, I mean, in recent years, you've had a few setbacks, haven't you?
Injury prone, yeah. Last season I was in Chepstow, two rides for Matthew Salomon. I won the 3 o'clock, but then the 4 o'clock horse broke down 2 furlongs out, and I came down. I dislocated my shoulder. I was on the sidelines for another, I think it was 6 weeks altogether, yeah. So I was missed a chunk of last season as well, and obviously this season, missed most of this season. But
you're pony racing over in Ireland. You want to come to the UK and be a jockey. There must be 2 names, R. Hannon and A. Balding, that'd be right at the top of that list, and you managed to tick both off, so that's pretty good going. I
did a good few years of pony racing in Ireland. I rode out in a few trainers at home. The plan was always to come to England. I always loved to go to England. I first came over and did a few months in Balding's. He had a lot of apprentices, so he hadn't got enough room at the time. So I came to Mr. Hannon's, and he put me on the next licence course, and I've been here for 2 years, so I can't complain.
Was riding always what you wanted to do? Always wanted to be a jockey?
Always, yeah. My cousin's Robbie Colgan, so and I've always been reared around horses, so it was always the plan.
Always flat?
Always flat, yeah.
Never tempted to go over an obstacle?
If the weight went wrong, but not right now. It's quite good, I suppose, so I'll stay flat at the moment. And a fair chance with you going into next summer with still 5. Yeah. Is the Apprentice title something that you'd like to focus on? It's something that keeps coming over my mind, so I'd like to give it a go next year again anyway. I'm riding for as many different trainers and owners is my aim. I've got a very good agent, Stephen Croft's my agent, so he does very well at getting me rides for other trainers and other owners, and that's what I hope to do, get as many contacts as I can going into the new year and into the next season. You picked up that big run on Lionhearted. Is there any other particular highlight that sticks out? Yeah, Lionhearted was great. He was so consistent, it was brilliant. Busy Street stands out for me in Kempton. He won a Class 3 there. He won a feature one night back in February, I think, for Mr. Appleby, and yeah, no, that was quite good. I enjoyed that. And there's a lot of positivity from that yard, I think, with regard to you as well. Yeah. A pretty shrewd and smart place as well, so it must have given you a lot of confidence that people wanted to put you up and make use of that claim. Definitely, yeah, he was a big help to me. He had the confidence to put me up, and then it gave people the confidence to use me, so he's been good to me, yeah. It must be a big advantage, not just the quality of riders that you're in and around here at Richard Hannon's every morning, but also the quality of horses you get to sit on. That must bring you forward as a rider. Exactly, yeah, and I mean, Sean and Tom, and they'd always give you advice and stuff on your riding and what you did wrong and what you did right and stuff in races, so they go through it with you. And do you think sitting on better horses, not just in races but in the mornings, do you think that brings you forward? Do you think there is something about that gives you more confidence and you learn more? You learn a bit about the horses and how they feel up the gallops, and you can translate that into racing, I suppose, so yeah. And you've got some pals here, have you? You and Thor seem pretty... Me and Thor get on well, yeah. He said the same, I promise. Yeah. But that helps, does it? I mean, 2 people in a... You're in the same boat, kind of, yeah, because he's come from Germany, I come from Ireland, so... Well, my father was always a jockey in Germany, Hong Kong, Denmark, so I kind of got brought into it quite early. The first day I would really say I got into racing was when he started training, and I sat on a racehorse for the first time. And did you always have that passion to
to be a jockey from a young age? Was that always what you wanted to be?
Yeah, I had a pony when I was younger. I did a lot of show jumping on him, and since then it's just gradually worked my way up, and started riding racehorses when I was 12 years old, and then I just kind of made my journey over here. It was always kind of my plan to become a jockey at some stage. I didn't really plan to come over here. I did try if it would work at home, but obviously the racing isn't as big there. So my dad kind of picked up the phone and rang William Buick, and he got me the job over here, which I'm very thankful for, and I haven't looked back since. There's a lot more horses over here, a lot more meetings on a day, and I suppose it just makes it an awful lot easier to earn good money and obviously progress in your riding. So that was kind of the main point coming over here.
So last year was your first year riding here with a licence. When did you first come over and ride out here?
I started in September 2017, and I got my licence in January 2018, so I've had my first season 2018. I think they do it in a very good way over here, going to the racing school, going on a licence course, and they prepare you very well in the racing school to do obviously your media training and riding in races, so they look after you pretty well.
Sum up the season, your season so far, has it worked out how you expected?
I've had a really good start to the season, with good trainers being really good to me, and obviously I've had 3 rides at the Royal Ascot, which I wouldn't have even believed if anyone told me that at the start of the year. So obviously that was really good, and probably my highlight as well. And since then I've been riding a lot, not as many winners as I would have hoped, but it's been going upwards again, so hopefully I can pick up again. For Royal Ascot, I rode Coeur de Lion for Alan King, who I won the Chester Plate on, and I was kind of always hoping to stay on him for Ascot, but I never really believed that it could happen, and he was genuine enough to keep me on him, and he's given me plenty of chances since, so very thankful for Mr. King to keep me on him there.
Is that part of being an apprentice, that you might get on a run with a horse, and when a big meeting comes up, are you ever fearful that perhaps the ride might go on to someone else, or you hope connections will see your worth, your claim, and stick with you?
I wouldn't describe it as a fear of losing the ride, but you know, if you're up against the best jockeys, you couldn't be disappointed if an owner would turn around and say he'd rather won the world's #1 on than a £5 claimer. So I was really thankful for that.
And I'm interested with regard to, because of course you've grown up in it, and your dad was so successful. Did that add? It may have opened doors for you, but equally, does it add that element of pressure because people have a certain amount of expectation about you, given your family? And did you ever feel pressure that you had to live up to something, perhaps?
I did at the start. I felt like I wasn't riding really well, which I probably wasn't, and a lot of people were probably looking at it saying, "Oh, I expected him to be better than that." But then, with the time, obviously, I progressed a small bit, and the pressure kind of fell off. And I wouldn't say it made me feel uncomfortable, but it did make me more competitive, for certain. And it has definitely opened doors. I fly home to ride horses for big owners back home who have horses over here and training with good and big trainers. So hopefully I can get on them over here one day, and it might open another big door.
What's it like living in a different country as a young guy?
I'd say it was quite easy. I've made very good friends at the very start I came over here. They've been all been very great to me, including the boss. So I found it quite easy. I get on with everyone, all the jockeys, all the stable staff.
Except Mark.
Yeah, except Mark.
See, now he was nice about you, but you do seem to have a good bond between the two.
No, 100%. He would probably be my best friend. So there's no hard feelings there.
And I'm sure you have a bit of natural competition, you and Mark, for example, and the young guys here. But also, do you spur each other on? Are you there for each other? If he has a winner, you're happy for him, and vice versa. And do you work together to that extent?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't know what he thinks about it, but I'm very happy when he rides a winner. And look, he's helped me quite a bit, and I've helped him quite a bit. So I feel like if you help each other out, you always keep progressing. So I hope he said the same thing, but I'm sure he did.
And there's a lot more that comes with an apprentice. It's not just going out and trying to, or riding winners, but also the work you have to do here. We've seen you this morning with young horses and breaking them and getting on for the first time. Is that something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, 100%. That's probably one of my favourite parts of the year, because you just see them learning so quickly. And obviously today was the first day we got on some of the yearlings. I did 3 of them today, and that's going to get really busy now within the next few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that.
And is it something you were always aware that you were going to have to do when you came over, and something that a challenge that you embrace full on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every apprentice has to do that. Obviously, because we're quite light, or should be quite light. But I was looking forward to it when I came over here. I did quite a few yearlings back home at my dad's yard, so I was kind of used to it. But I will be doing, or I hope I will be doing them all this year. So.
What are your hopes for the remainder of the season?
Don't really set myself targets because I don't want to get disappointed. But I would like to ride quite a few winners over the winter, and for next year, look, I'm just gonna dig deep and see how far I can get with it. But if the apprentice title is there to grab, then I obviously would go for it.
Well, Tom is in Berkshire. I'm in Newmarket at Peter O'Sullivan's house, the 3rd rehabilitation and fitness centre run by the Injured Jockeys Fund. And for the charity, Otto Hopkins Fagan will be preparing to ride 350 kilometres across South Africa's wild coast to support the Injured Jockeys Fund. Really, really important, of course, this charity. And while we'll also be catching up with Otto, we'll be getting the amazing tour of this brilliant facility. Lisa, here we are, finally ready to launch next month. How proud are you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we've worked quite hard and for quite a long time to get the facility up and running. It's been some 18 months, and on the back of Jackberry House in Moulton and Oaksey House in Lambourne. So we've learned a lot, and hopefully this one will be another great feather in our cap.
And how crucial, how important is it for you, I guess, and everyone involved with the Injured Jockeys Fund to have it here in Newmarket? I mean, the British Racing School, yeah. Just over there, we've got the horses in the background, and in Newmarket.
Yeah, it's a great link. It's a fantastic link with the British Racing School. So the idea being that a 16-year-old apprentice or conditional actually comes here, gets involved in the facility, does quite a bit of their training with Richard Hannon and the team from the BRS here, but they're also seeing current jockeys and former jockeys in the gym, having physio, seeing the nutritionist and the sports psych, and it just brings it all together.
Yeah, and the 3rd venue of its kind, but they're all very different.
Yeah, they are. We haven't got respite or residential care here. The theory behind that being that most of the jockeys in the Newmarket area probably live within a 10-mile radius, so they can come in as outpatients. But the British Racing School link brings a very different feel to it. At Oaksey House, we actually have a stronger arm to cope with neuro patients, those who might have an acquired brain injury or a spinal injury. And Jackberry House is so much part of the Yorkshire community. We've got sort of 3 different fields, different teams, but hopefully a great overall support package.
Named after legendary commentator Sir Peter himself, that we've also got a room with some fabulous archive in there.
Yeah, that was a really nice sort of story and angle for us. Sir Anthony McCoy is our president, and he's also a trustee of the Peter O'Sullivan Trust. And we've got Jackberry, we've got Oaksey House, and to have Sir Peter as part of this facility was amazing. And we've actually got some fantastic black and white photographs and clips from his home personal life here. So it will commemorate him and everything that he achieved forever.
He's such a generous man.
He was a generous man, he loved jockeys. So you've got fantastic photographs of him with Steve Cawthon and with Pat Edery, and it just makes your skin tingle.
I know,
almost
and the
to see
jockeys
them.
Loved him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had jockeys coming in now and they're all listening to the audio clips of Nijinsky winning the Derby and just, going back to those memories.
So Otto, it's wonderful to be here and see such great facilities. How much do you love coming in?
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, like we were just talking off camera, I was a resident at Oaksey House a few years back, and this facility is just, it's like Oaksey House as well. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, it's the 3rd of its kind, and funded Injured Jockeys Fund, just critical to all of you guys. Just tell me a little bit about your story and your racing career.
Yeah, sure. So I'm an ex-amateur jockey. Absolutely nothing special, but it's really a testament to the team here, you know, how much they've looked after me. I had some injuries back about 9 years ago when I was in racing, and I've come back here in preparation for my race in October because due to my training load I injured my knee, and these guys have welcomed me back with open arms.
I know many years since you've been, you know, riding in races, and you don't look like a jockey.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the only person to say that. So there have been weight issues and obviously injuries.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was absolutely obsessed back then. You know, I was a good 6 foot even when I was 15, 16, and it's not ideal being a jockey and being that height, that tall, you know. But it just made me super determined, and people said to me all the time, "You'll never be a jockey, you'll never be a jockey," but at least
like try and stop me.
Yeah, exactly, you know. And I used to have a barrel and a spring in my living room, and I'd ride races on the TV, watching the racing channels. So it was great while it lasted, but unfortunately, due to injury and weight issues, I did have to leave the industry.
You're going on a crazy adventure.
Yeah.
To South Africa.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers how far you'll be travelling on your horse, 3 horses.
Yeah, so I'll have 3 horses. It's a 5-day challenge. It's called Race the Wild Coast, and it's considered to be the world's wildest horse race. So yeah, I'll have 3 horses, 5 kilograms of kit, hundreds of miles of rugged coastline to race across, as well as 33 river swims that you have to get off and swim alongside your horses. So it's going to be good. It's
going to be an incredible experience. And how are you assigned your horses? Because obviously it's all about the partnership, and you want to hopefully look out to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's all sort of quite, you know, in the preliminary stages at the moment. It's only the 3rd year that the race has been run. But as far as I know, you pick the name out the hat for your first ride, and then there are vet checks every 40 kilometres, and then you change 2 more times. So there's a lot of luck involved.
It's going to be intense.
Yes.
And are you ready?
I think so. Luckily, with the team's help here, you know, and training twice a day, I'm doing everything I can.
Ross, lead physio, but a very new venture for you.
Absolutely, yeah. We've only just started really, and a lot of us are very, very new to racing, so we're really trying to catch up really.
Well, catch up, you'll have no problem, because looking at your experience, your expertise, transcending over many different sports.
Yes, yeah, I've been fortunate to work in a number of different professional sports. Most recently football, but also done quite a lot of time in cricket and track and field and things like that. And I think just trying to take the best bits of those sports, the bits that I've learned from those sports, and bring them into this environment, and hopefully try and support the jockeys that way.
How far behind are we racing in terms of professionalism?
Yeah, I think that professional side of being a jockey is coming, but it will take a number of years for it to catch up with the sports of football and rugby, where, you know, they've been professional and full-time for quite a long time, and they've been used to having S&C with them all the time, and sports psych, nutrition, all those different aspects of it. And certainly if you look at cricket sort of 10, 12 years ago, again they went through a similar sort of transition really, where they weren't used to having a full-time contract, they weren't used to having an S&C, it was very much them and the batting coach and the head of cricket.
A few pints after.
And a few pints after the game, that took a while to get them out of that habit, and trying to get them used to actually eating really well and looking after the diet. But now you look at the England team now, and they've just been successful winning the World Cup. You know, and they're great athletes, and, you know, really look after themselves, spend a lot of time in the gym, honing their skills, and I think that's what we'll start to see with the jockeys now. They're really a greater focus on their fitness, so that they're fitter to fall and to be able to withstand the demands of their sport, but also looking after themselves better in terms of their welfare, their nutrition, and sort of their mental health as well.
So rehabilitation, you know, we've got the facilities required to back it up. We're here in this state-of-the-art gym at the minute.
Yeah, it's an incredible facility that we've got here, and as staff we're really excited and lucky to be working in this environment. You know, as you say, the gym is state-of-the-art. We've got 2 other centres around the country, and the charity has sort of learnt from what's worked really well at those other 2 centres and brought that here to Peter O'Sullivan House, and yeah, the facilities are phenomenal, and the jockeys can't want for anything here.
Definitely not. We saw you in here with Otto, who's working hard, and
Indeed, yeah.
The hydrotherapy pool looks incredible with so many different functions. Can you just explain to our viewers that are just watching it on the screen, because underneath we've got treadmills, we've got so many options.
Absolutely, there. It's a phenomenal bit of kit really. There's only 4 of them in the country, and the Injured Jockeys Fund have got 3 of them, the other one's at St George's Park for English FA. But yeah, I mean it's so varied in terms of what you can do with it. As I say, you can take somebody you know, paraplegic, or you know, going in on a spinal board with you know, very serious head injury, and just simply being in the warm water and floating can give them such a relief and such a positive experience. So it can be that end, and then you can take it all the way through the various stages of rehabilitation where someone's just starting to learn to walk again. We can use the underwater treadmill, as you say there, just to re-educate that walking pattern, but they're supported by the water, and so they're in a nice safe environment, and it's supporting their body weight. So that's incredible. But then also be able to transition that into sort of that end stage fitness, where the guys are ready to return back to racing. We can just use it for fitness, whether it be you know, a cardiovascular blow or just a strengthening exercise. You know, it's a really nice, versatile bit of kit, and we've used it a lot already. Well,
I'm very lucky to have it here.
Yes, absolutely, and we're very grateful to the support that the charities had in order for us to have that.
What is the best part of your job, Ross?
Best part of my job, I think it's working with the team. You know, we've got a great new team here. We've got Becky, Emma, James and Glenn forming up the rehab team. We've all started at the same time, which is really nice, but we work really nicely. There's a really nice dynamic between the group, so we're able to flow very much between the physio side of things and the rehab and the strength and conditioning. So that's really probably the best there, and as well as, of course, we're able to have you know, great support from the HQ team and the front of house and things like that. So it's a real nice environment to work in.
After learning his craft all around the globe, Tom Ward was assistant trainer to Richard Hannon, not too far from here, for 4 or so years. But he's set up on his own now here in the heart of Lambourne and has some exciting future plans on the horizon.
I'm happy to sort of get going. I've sort of spent a long time trying to get to this stage, and it's quite surreal it's here now, but I'm enjoying every minute of it at the moment. I'd planned on doing as much as I could abroad originally, which I managed successfully to do, and then obviously come back here and work for someone who would allow me to progress from him to start on my own. And luckily, obviously, I ended up with Richard, and it was a great place to go.
So for anyone that doesn't know, just explain the path that you've taken to get here.
I spent 4 years with Richard, which obviously was great, and then before that I was in Australia, based in Sydney, with John O'Shea, and he was at the time the main trainer for Godolphin, and we had stables in Melbourne, Sydney, and just outside Sydney in Hawkesbury. So spent plenty of time sort of travelling around, which was great. Saw most of Australia and how they do it down there.
How different is Australia as a horse racing institution compared to over here?
It's a different type of horse down there, different type of training. You can sort of bring small comparisons between the two, but on the whole they are very separate bubbles or entities in terms of the way they are, the way they're run. It's interesting to see both. Like you say, you can take a little bit from there to bring here, but on the whole you're better off sort of sticking to the tried and tested way they train over here, and because obviously you've got the variation in tracks and obviously more undulations and stiffer tracks than you would down there, for instance.
What was Kieran McLaughlin's like in the States?
Kieran was great. I mean, he's a really, really nice guy. I had a great time out there. I was based mainly in Saratoga and Belmont, so I was a bit more on the East Coast. We had a bit of success out there at the time as well.
And was Richard's the most senior role that you've had to date?
Yeah, between there and John O'Shea's, those were the two most senior roles I had. I think I was in Australia, I was mainly the racing manager and assistant trainer, and then obviously I was assistant trainer for Richard. Two very different roles, because Australia you wouldn't be as hands-on with the horses generally as a racing manager assistant, whereas in England you are a lot more hands-on, so I've got two different spectrums from it.
And I think one of the things that always comes up if we go and speak to assistant trainers now who are thinking about setting up or have gone and set up, one of the biggest issues perhaps they face, or biggest things to come to terms with, is moving from a yard with Group 1 horses, if you had, to not being surrounded by those horses. How have you dealt with that?
I completely agree. I think you're at that stage where you've just got to understand that you're going to have to start small, and you're going to have plenty of time in your head thinking, am I getting this right, or is it going to plan? And you've got to mentally keep yourself busy and keep yourself doing something, because there'll be stages where you won't have a runner for a week because you're on a smaller number of horses, and you've got to try and just keep yourself motivated and pushing through that and dealing with the horses you've got and doing the best you can with them. Obviously at Richards, when you've got a big number, you've got runners every day, and each day you take each day as it comes, but obviously when you're on your own, you're a lot smaller, and you just hope that the results will come. You just got to be confident and also not get yourself too down, and have also a life in the end of the day when you can sort of get away from it a little bit, but also make sure you're keeping yourself busy when you are at work.
And how's it been with regard to individuals and people and owners that I suppose when you set up on your own you hope that they'll support you and show you support that perhaps has been mentioned when you set up on your own? How have you found that? Have you been quite lucky so far?
I've been very lucky, I think. I've been very lucky to have the guys. I've had opportunities through buying horses, and I've had people come up to me and ask if I bought a horse on spec, and they wanted to take a share or take a whole horse, and I've been lucky in that department. But I hope, obviously, having spent time with Richard and being Richard was very good to me. He let me be quite exposed in the media, and I think that helps getting to know people generally. So I was lucky in that department. But no, I've been very grateful to the people who have sent me horses so far, and yeah, just hopefully onwards and upwards. I've obviously been going for about a month now, and I wanted to sort of stay a bit under the radar, and I just slowly want to build it without coming sort of too much into the focus. But obviously it's great you guys came down and could see it from the very beginning. Hopefully, if it flourishes, which I'm very hopeful it will, that you'll be able to see it later on in life.
It's going to be a big year for you.
Huge year, yeah, Christ. It'll be great though. I mean, we're obviously getting married in April, so that'll be the first hurdle to get over, and then obviously into the season, and hopefully try and get a few results. But yeah, and we got a dog as well, which is we put the whole lot on the plate. Yeah, I thought we'd get everything get everything done, and then we can work away.
So here we are at Charlie Mann's, where you're renting a barn, but next door there's a bit of work going on. So just take us through some of those plans.
Yeah, so we're basically currently renting 16 boxes of Charlie, which is great, and Charlie's very kindly let me use his barn, and that'll be for the next year. And like I say, next door we're building a small yard and a house, which will probably take a year to 18 months, and hopefully next winter we'll be able to move in. But it's very exciting, a lot of progress going on there now. You probably hear it in the background. Builders will be there for a while, and like I say, it'll be exciting when it's done, but it'll be nice to see the progress as it goes through.
Right, so here we are at the new site with Tom, and the site manager who's kindly let us come in, which is very much in the early days, as you can see. So just tell us, Tom, where we're stood currently, what's going to appear behind us.
We are at the entrance, and you're going to drive in, and as you can see where we got all the bricks currently being laid, in the middle there's going to be an archway with a clock tower on top, and either side there'll be 6 boxes.
That is basically right in the middle of where we are at the moment.
Ideally, you should be able to drive through the entrance and see straight up through the back. So that is the central point of the whole yard. In the middle, we're going to have a nice floral arrangement to walk around and for the horses to go out before they go out on the gallops. And on the left over here, we'll have the offices. And on the right, we've got a barn that will be an L shape that will basically form part of the U.
So, I mean, the design, because you've essentially come into what was a flattish plot of land. There was nothing that you had to knock down, which I suppose makes life a little bit easier. Yeah. But you've got to design it all from scratch. So how much has that been you and someone else sitting down?
Yeah, I mean, a few of us have sat down together to get it organised, but we've basically gone through the ideas of the old yards where you had them all in open boxes outside. It's just not very economical on space anymore, and it's actually harder to work for your staff. I think now the barn structure is a far better model. It allows your staff an easier working environment. Obviously with mucking out and haying and watering horses, it's far easier through a barn. And I think also with the ventilation side of things, having a barn, if you get the ventilation right, it's key, and that'll keep all bugs and everything out through and up out the top of the barn.
And then it looks as though, should you wish to expand, there's room for a bit more as well.
There is. We've got plenty of space. We're going to build foundations for a third barn, which won't be put in straight away. And behind that, like I say, we'll have the trotting ring and everything, which will be at a later date, but everything will be built up slowly. We're going to get the original stuff in first.
Walker? Do you have to have a walker straight away, do you feel?
We will get a walker. I think you need a walker. They're a good bit of kit, and they're nice to get horses warmed up in the mornings if you need to, and obviously if you want to get them out in the afternoon for an hour, it's quite a nice way to sort of get a bit of exercise into them.
And I suppose from where you're coming from, you're going to have more horses, which is going to require more staff. I mean, you've got great staff at the moment, and that's something you're going to expand as well.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky with the staff I've got. They're great lads, and they really work hard, and hopefully they'll be the sort of structure I'll build on in terms of getting new guys in, and they'll sort of set the law and set the rules, and they've done a really good job for me so far, and I hope going forward they can maintain that sort of support and confidence.
That's it for this week's This Racing Life from a showery and blustery Lambourne. The jump season can't be far away. We'll see you again next week.